Well, guys, it's what you've all been waiting for, and you're probably thinking that I might not do this review, that I might skip it and everything based on what I'm saying, but I figured instead of watching highlights, I'm gonna do this not only for my subs that enjoy wrestling content, but I'm going to also do it for myself. I owe it to myself as being a lifelong wrestling fan to watch AEW, to give AEW a chance, to give them a chance, and to see, what they could offer up. I wasn't thrilled with, All Out or Double or Nothing, but maybe, just maybe, AEW Dynamite. I still can't believe they went with that name. I mean, honestly, how are we not supposed to think good times with that name? Now, I understand it. They want to have, maybe they don't want to be WCW, but that could be considered to be a metaphor. Maybe they want to be WCW in the vein that they want to be the most competitive company ever with WWE, as WCW was with Nitro. So, Nitro, it's explosive like Dynamite, right? So you've got that comparison there. I mean, everyone has already said that 1,000 times on Twitter and all across the internet. I don't need to tell you that. So how was Dynamite? This is going to be a weekly show for AEW, and I watched this. I was watching the highlights, and you know what I did? When I got to the last match, I stopped it. I stopped it at the main event. So you know what? No, we're not doing that. We're going to watch it from the beginning. I hear Tony Schiavone, I hear Jim Ross, and I will tell you something right now. That is one of the very few reasons that I actually decided to watch this whole thing. Because I heard what a good job Tony Schiavone and JR were doing on commentary. I could care less about Excalibur, guys. Not that he's bad or anything, he's okay, but Tony Schiavone and JR, we're talking about two of the greatest announcers of all time. And credit to AEW. Credit to everyone in management, Rhodes, the Bucks, whoever, came up with the idea to, put these guys in the commentary booth. It was a great decision. Tony Schiavone has an amazing voice, and just them alone, they managed to try as hard as they could to try to get some of these guys over. That's going to be extremely hard to do, as we're going to see as I go through this, segment by segment, or mostly match by match, because it was mostly more matches than promos, but I loved listening to JR and Tony Schiavone. That was a big plus on this show. So let's get into it. Let's start from the very beginning. So we start off a few video packages, nothing too special. We start off, of course, with we got the pyro and everything. That's why WWE went back to doing it. Because, they saw that AEW had that on their show, so of course they have to have it as well. So, there you go. They come on, they have the pyro, and we've got the first match of the night. It's Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara. And Cody beats Sammy Guevara, and Cody has agreed to, in this match, if he lost it, he was going to give up his title shot to Sammy. And okay, first of all, I don't know why they chose this match to be the first thing that you see. This is what I've been saying. I've said this all the time in WWE. Say you're one of these people. This is one of those rare opportunities. This is TNT. Maybe certain people haven't watched since the Monday Night Wars. What's been going on in wrestling the past 18 years since I've been absent from it? Maybe wrestling has cleaned up his act. Maybe I could go back and it will be like old times. Do you think Did they did anything like that? Do you think they did a callback to characters or did some type of, epic storyline or something like that, or fired the first shot when it came to like really making this a huge Wednesday night war? And you know what the most entertaining thing to me is? The war is not even with Raw per se. More people are talking about NXT, which is, I know a lot of people don't like to say this, but Kenny Omega was right. The NXT is developmental. So I didn't watch that show, so I'll be honest with you there. So that's not the point here. We're not comparing NXT. We're judging AEW by themselves. And we will do a few comparisons to WWE because it's just, you have to, right? WWE is the Band-Aid brand of professional wrestling, so you have to talk about it. So, okay, so we start off this huge night, and, for all intents and purposes, from a wrestling standpoint, it is a huge night. From an everyday Joe standpoint, it's just another show on TV. So, okay, we start off with Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. And Sammy Guevara, this is what I'm saying. You tune in and you see this guy, you're going to say, what happened to the wrestlers? They shrunk. Remember when the smallest wrestler used to be X-Pac? This guy is like 3 or 4 times smaller than X-Pac. And okay, you know what? Maybe the guy makes up for it in charisma. Well, we don't get to see it. Maybe the guy makes a few facial expressions here and there. But not only that, Cody Rhodes is hitting these big-time moves on him. He's hitting him with the disaster kick. Guevara kicks out of one of his finishers. Then he takes him up to the top rope. Gives him a reverse suplex right off the top rope. Smashes him right into the mat. Big-time move there. Huge move. Great move to finish the match. Does it finish the match? Of course it doesn't. Because we're doing what started back. This was an ROH thing, guys. For all people that don't know, this started as an ROH thing, a Ring of Honor thing, where, oh my God, this match is epic. Look, these guys are kicking out of everything. They're total warriors. Look at Sammy Guevara. Look at Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes looks like a star. I know I haven't had a lot of kind things to say about Cody Rhodes over the past year or so, but that's because the guy's got a really big ego. I don't think he's as great as he thinks he is. Is he good? Yes, he's good. Is he great? No, he's not great. But, I feel like the match should have ended after that huge top rope move. But Guevara kicks out. So how did they end the match? And the funny thing is, when I was watching the highlights, I knew this was lame. So for the first match, my dad had heard about this, and I asked him, I said, do you want to watch a little bit of it? Because I mentioned it in my WrestleMania review. He walked out of the room after the first 2 or 3 matches from WrestleMania this year, saying how boring it was. And that's the person who got me into wrestling, when I started watching it as a kid. So now, going to be 32 years old, I'm watching this product now, and and I'm just saying, I see his perspective. He said, what happened at the end there? He says, that didn't even make any sense what happened. So what happened is this. I'm just trying to show, this is a person that hasn't watched wrestling consistently in a decade and a half or something like that. So Guevara hits a shooting star press off the top. And, keep in mind all these big moves that Cody just hit him with: disaster kick, reverse suplex, whatever. and then you've got this shooting star press. The shooting star press, somehow Cody gets his knees up, but it doesn't really look that good. And then he kind of does this little small package there, reaches over, and he pins him. Why do they have to make Cody Rhodes pinned him by the skin of his teeth? And it looked super sloppy. So there you go, right there. Like, that's how we start things off. That's how we started off. I mean, okay. So, like I said, I don't know where they got this idea for Sammy Guevara, but you're gonna see, like, later on in the show, Sammy Guevara is not going anywhere. And he looks like a ham and egger. He looks like a jobber. He looks like somebody you would have seen on Velocity or Shotgun Saturday Night or Jacked or, you know, one of the shows that was on New York 55 or whatever channel it was on over there, whatever state that you live in. Okay, so, you know, one of those Saturday night WWE shows that they used to have on Velocity for the sake of an argument, right? Okay, so after that is over, Jericho comes out to attack Cody. He's smashing him with the chair. And then it goes to commercial break. And now they're doing this weird thing where it's like, if it's during a match or something's happening, they're doing this picture-in-picture thing where it's like part commercial. Like, it's, you know, it's side by side. You know, there's the commercial on the left and there's the wrestling on the right. And this was like super awkward and not as engaging as they probably think it's going to. So let's play devil's advocate here. This is a bad idea. I don't like it. It's really, really awkward. It's very much like the WWE app when it first came out. So the first thing before the WWE network, and pretty much now the WWE app is only useful for watching the network on your phone, right? It's pretty much the WWE network app, but it's just called the WWE app, I believe still. Whatever the case may be with that app, the thing is that it used to be able to watch what was going on during the commercials. Like, this product is so good, you've got to see what's going on during the commercials. So you got to watch all the rest holds, basically, during the commercials on the app. What a worthy download. But millions of people download. So, but anyway, then they stopped doing wrestling during the commercials for like a few weeks. And I guess then they stopped doing that. And then now AEW is showing you what's going on. And it's like, watching it is weird because, like, Jericho is, you know, doing a good job getting over as a heel with the chair and everything. But I'm sitting there saying to myself, this is super awkward. I can't hear JR. I can't hear Excalibur. I can't hear Tony Schiavone. I'm just like, this is not working. And I noticed, like, a few times my eyes were drifting more to the commercial. I don't know what it is, if corporate America's just got me more enthralled in their amazing products. But I'm just saying, why is the eyeliner commercial so much more appealing to me than what's going on the screen? I don't know, but it's too distracting. Whatever it is, I feel like if there's something else on the screen while wrestling is there, it doesn't matter. It's like, you know... but whatever, they come back, and it's like, I don't know why they're doing that. You're better off just leaving us on a cliffhanger. Oh my God, Jericho's here. Stay tuned to the commercial, but now you just get to see what's on during the commercial. This is wrestling in the future, guys. Wow, it's crazy. I don't like it. I just don't. But anyway, so, you know, Jericho finishes attacking him, and then we've got MJF. Who's the, you know, this guy is getting some traction online. People like him. And he defeated Randy Cutler. And I gotta say that this guy, Randy Cutler, is like the spinning image of Just Incredible. I mean, the guy has the same shaped head. He's got the same goatee. He's about the same size, physique-wise. I mean, I think you might as well have just called him Just Incredible. People might be questioning why he looks so young, but I'd say run with it because he looks just like him. You could be like, oh, somewhere during the late 90s, they, you know, while, you know, Just Incredible was the ECW champion, they cloned him. And, you know, they could have just made something crazy. I'm just kidding, but I'm just saying the guy looks exactly like Just Incredible. It's incredible. It's just incredible. I'm sorry for that, but I had to. But anyway, so I don't know. The MJF stuff, the guy looks good. To me, I could see why people might say that this guy's a star, but I don't think, like, JR did a good job of saying, like, this is what AEW is going to be about. This is what the foundation of AEW is going to be built on. Never mind that our world champion is 48 years old. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm happy that they actually did pick Jericho, as I said when I did review All Out. And that's so much better than if Adam Page won it. If Adam Page was the champion, they would have been a laughingstock. I would have just... If you guys thought I was being harsh during my All Out review, imagine if Adam Page won the title. I would have tore them a new one. I would have pretty much told them that this product would not work out at all. So we have this match, and MJF is okay. Like on the mic, it just, I don't know. The promo work just sounds very generic. Okay, this guy, the guy in the ring, Randy, he doesn't look very good. So okay, so you're making fun of him, basically saying he looks like he got lost on the way to the stand. So why is he in the ring then? Why did he even get an entrance and all that? Why is he on the show? You have 2 hours to blow, the world away with your Dynamite, So why are you doing this jobber match? And why is the jobber, super strong? If they're making fun of him and saying he doesn't look much like a star, he doesn't have much of a physique, and he's supposed to represent the fans. Was it supposed to be metaphorically like he's beating down a smark? Because, I know that we make fun of smarks a lot on this channel, but I am not for this. Putting a guy in there that doesn't, if he doesn't look like he belongs, then he shouldn't be on this show. I mean, honestly, this guy has no business being out there. And it's funny because, I'm looking at Sammy Guevara, and actually, Randy Cutler looks better than him. So, if you ask me, they should have switched roles. I mean, at least this guy actually looks like a wrestler, because he looks like someone else. So, I'm not joking there. I'm not trolling. I'm being serious. This is, real opinions here. So... If you feel like this guy doesn't really fit the bill, and this is part of the promo, why is he even out there? And plus, I'm saying, he's also grabbing the ropes like he's so strong. Obviously, look at MJF. This guy's got a great physique. He's struggling. He can't Irish whip the guy off the ropes. He's blocking it by putting one hand on the rope. Isn't this supposed to be a jobber match? And this guy is doing Hulk Hogan stuff, holding on to, what? I am sorry, but guys, we have to look at this stuff and be fair. And I know, because I've even seen what you guys have said to Wrestling Jesus for his review of this show. Oh, you're trolling, Look, guys, it's not trolling. People, like he said, people have opinions on this show, and they're going to voice them. They're going to tell you that they don't like this show. Guys, look, they might have won on Wednesday, but they were going up against NXT of all things. They got a 1.7. That's not exactly lighting the world on fire. Now, yes, it is better than Impact Wrestling, but okay, let's keep in mind that a TV show getting a 1.7 is not incredible, especially when Raw used to get 8s and 9s and sometimes 10s on the regular. So it's not really that impressive. I'm not losing my mind. I'm not rushing over to I need to shake Cody Rhodes' hand. What an amazing performance. No, it's not really that amazing to me. And with content like this, you could start to see why. So, MJF picks up the win with the Fujiwara armbar. And the whole thing, I'm better than you. I'm just saying, this guy looks like he has potential. I hear his voice, I see what he looks like, but the proper the proper verbiage and just and I'm not even sure a Fujiwara armbar is the best move for this guy. He doesn't really look like a submission wrestler. I don't know. I'm just saying that this spot here was weird. So you've got 2 matches back to back with like guys that don't look like they belong and guys that are not like, I would say that MJF is an impressive looking guy. He looks like he handled himself okay in the ring, but like this just doesn't seem like a prime time player to me. Now, before you get your panties all in a bunch, I've said this numerous times on for WWE, I'd say about like 75% of the roster doesn't belong on TV. So before you start saying that, let's keep that in mind, and about all the things I've said over the years about the WWE product. So then we've got this promo. So Scorpio Sky is trying to do this like Obama routine, and like it actually sounded pretty good with the voice, but I don't know, it was just very strange, like their Secret Service, and it was just goofy, it was corny. It wasn't really funny, it was just bizarre, like why did it need to be there? What was the point of them doing this? Okay, and like, so then they get up on the stage, and I just thought it was weird, like like they did their own video, the announcer said, and then they cut to the arena, and then they're there. So it's like, I don't even understand why they had to do that little video. So they come out, and they get interviewed by Tony Schiavone. They start cutting a promo, and then the Lucha Brothers cut them off, and like this just felt unfulfilling. So the crowd is like into the Lucha Brothers. They did their catchphrase, whatever that nonsense was, and like I don't know, I'm supposed to feel excited or something over this. I'm just like, okay, that was not really a good interview. That really wasn't a good promo, and that was like really like when I think about it, was really like the only promo on the show. So then we've got Pac defeating Adam Page, and this was a good match. I have to say, I enjoyed this one. But again, like, then they did another commercial break. It was a pretty long match, and I noticed my attention drifting to the left side of the screen again. I don't know what it was, but, I guess the Advanced Auto Parts commercial just was very invigorating to me. I don't know. I guess those commercials were more over than the product. No, but it was good. See, you guys know that I like Pac, and Neville and everything, and I've said it time and time again. This guy, to me, he looks like a world champion. I don't know how I feel about this name, The Bastard, though. I get it why, they're trying to make the guy, like, I still love, like, the hair in the face, the demented look. This guy gets it. He certainly does. Like, I don't know, but to me, he just, I'm looking at him in the ring with Adam Page, and I'm like, Adam Page just, I don't get it. Like, I see Adam Page, and he looks like a wrestler, he does, but there's something missing from him. I don't know, the way how he handles himself is just not, like, A+ material. Like, I seriously believe he did not deserve to share the ring with Chris Jericho. And that we were supposed to even believe for 1 minute that, and even JR said that. Did you hear when he said that during the match? He actually says, I know you guys, are not going to believe this, but, that he actually gave Jericho a run for his money. Well, I certainly hope so. They wrestled a 20+ minute match on All Out, right? But the thing is, he's right, because I almost didn't believe that. So JR's actually, I don't know if that was accidental or he let his opinions come out. He was sort of kind of doing that on All Out. And, I can't say that that's really a good move there, but I'm saying it's true. I mean, I can't even believe that they would have this guy give Chris Jericho a run for his money. You asked me 20 years ago, and I would tell you that Jericho wouldn't be in the ring with this type of guy. You know, a guy like Adam Page would be completely out of his league. Fast forward to 2019, this guy is wrestling for a world title and almost beating him. So, you know, I'm not quite sure what the deal is with Adam Page, why they believe that this guy is, you know, their golden goose in a certain respect. But, you know, they beat him here. I know that he low blowed him and everything, but they're certainly not really protecting him that much. I mean, because it was a low blow, and it's not like, you know, Neville won by the skin of his teeth. It was pretty, like, evenly matched throughout. So, to me, it looks like, you know, I feel like they're kind of holding on to Adam Page a little bit, like, until they find somebody better. I don't know. I've got a feeling like they realize that they shouldn't have put too much stock in this guy, and I wouldn't be surprised if over time he starts steadily declining and you don't really see, you know, too much of this guy anymore on the shows and not really held in such a high regard. But I can't begin to tell you, like, just look at Pac when he's out there. Look at the facial expressions. Look at how the guy carries himself. I still cannot believe that this guy was in WWE and Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins was he's a WWE champion, a world champion, and Neville, the best he ever did was a cruiserweight championship. When this guy, look at the physique, look at the faces he does, listen to the promo capability, he's great. I'm sorry, I have to admit, I am indeed a mark for the guy. I do really enjoy his work, and I mean, it was on display here. So, to me, this was this was one of the show stealers. I think it was pretty much the show stealer for me. I enjoyed this match. I thought it was well done. Adam Page is a good wrestler, but Pac and the facial expressions, I really enjoyed it. I thought he did a great job with the time he was given here. Now, do I think they probably could have told some type of a story here? You know, instead of like, oh, they were supposed to wrestle, you know, what was it, at All Out, but they didn't. So now they're wrestling on Dynamite. Okay, great story. Rio defeated Nyla Rose for the AEW World Championship. Now, this is where we're going to start to really start talking negatively about this show and about this promotion and about this match. Okay, so this match was pretty much point for point Asuka and Nia Jax back in NXT. I mean, I cannot get over. It was almost like someone heard me talk about this. I always mentioned it in past reviews when I said how ridiculous it is to have these smaller wrestlers going over these bigger guys. Now, it happened with Bret Hart and Bam Bam Bigelow. It happened with Bret Hart and Kevin Nash. But there was a certain style of booking. There was a certain way that those matches were put together where and plus Bret Hart was not really a small guy, right? You know, what was Bret Hart? He was 6'2". You know, he was well over 200 pounds. Here we're talking about a girl soaking wet who probably, possibly not even weigh 100 pounds. The girl doesn't even have a physique. You know what I'm saying? It's like Sasha Banks looks like a freaking bodybuilder compared to her. I mean, but this Nia Rose, she looks like a star, and she handled herself well here. But this match was like the same thing. She's dominating during the match. Rio, the tiny Japanese girl, is kicking out of everything basically. She's like Superwoman, for God's sakes, and she's kicking out of all these big moves. And every now and again, she's like getting out of the way. You know, she tries to do a senton bomb off the apron onto chairs. She moves out of the way. She goes onto the chairs. And, like, right there, like, okay, so that makes sense. Somehow get her back in the ring, do some move off the top rope or something, I don't know, and pin her, and that's it. That's the way that, so at least you could say, like, okay, she might have injured her back from landing on the chairs. No, instead they keep going. And, you know, I will at least say this, the Asuka Nia Jax match was way better. At least when Asuka hits a kick, it looks like it hurts. At least it's something. Now I know, okay, so you know, Asuka is maybe a little dangerous with those kicks. Maybe she's a little too stiff. But this girl, like, you could see, like, the elbow shots and everything. They were barely grazing her. It looked like real just crap, just junk, just horrible looking moves. It looked really sloppy and very, very, very fake. I mean, the fact that she's even, like, hanging in there with her, trading blows with Nyla Rose is like, is just unbelievable to me. I'm sitting here really just saying to myself, this looks incredibly fake to me. Not only does all the shots she's landing, but the fact that this match is even progressing the way that it is, just it looked horrible. So, you know, she hits like 1,000 shining wizards, and then she ends up getting the victory, and I'm just like, okay, she's like in there for like 15-20 minutes with the girl. She's getting, you know, destroyed by her, and out of nowhere, magically, somehow, some way, the big upset victory comes. You know, I'm really getting sick and tired of these upset victories because they're always happening in WWE. And, you know, like I said, this is not a Bret Hart over, you know, Diesel moment. I'm sorry, it's not one of those moments at all. It's not a Hulk Hogan over Andre the Giant. This is just inexcusably horrible looking. And, you know, I understand that we want to, like, do justice here. This is probably their way of saying, oh, we'll show you how to handle Japanese wrestlers and Japanese women. We're going to make them the champions and make them go over strong on our show. No. First of all, this girl is like nowhere near as talented as Asuka or Kairi Sane. None of them. At least those girls are like good. Like they, you know, Asuka looks like a star. Kairi Sane looks like a star. They work pretty well too in the ring. You know, this is kind of like a bargain bin Asuka. I hate to say it, but I do. I mean, seriously, this was like the same match from TakeOver like a few years ago. It just repackaged on AEW. That's honestly how it looked to me. So then we go to the main event, and it was Jericho, Ortiz, and Santana, the former LAX of Impact Wrestling, defeating Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Now, you could say, like, maybe this might have been a show stealer for a lot of people. So John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, comes out of nowhere. He attacks Kenny Omega during the match. They end up brawling in the back. And he gives him the dirty deeds right onto a glass table. Spot looked pretty good. It looked pretty believable. That wasn't a bad looking spot. So, like, you know, Kenny Omega left the Young Bucks alone in the ring, where they end up getting triple teamed. Jericho hits that very I get rid of that elbow. I am just telling you right now. I don't understand. This guy has the Walls of Jericho, the Lion Salt, the Code Breaker, all these moves at his disposal. Use the Enziguri, for God's sakes, as your finisher. The back elbow is way too basic for this day and age. And I understand it. He's getting it over and everything, but it's just, I'm sorry, that move is too simple. That would have even been too simple for the 80s. I mean, really, that makes like Hulk Hogan's leg drop look like a shooting star press. I'm just being honest here. I mean, I'm all for getting these moves over and everything, but like, I don't know, an elbow like from Wade Barrett, that was believable for some reason. I don't know what is this though. The back elbow, not buying it. I don't like it for Jericho. Personal opinion. I don't know. Maybe some other people think like, oh, it's an impactful move. Okay, I just don't see it. So yeah, there we go. So then at the end, Cody Rhodes runs in to pay back Jericho. So I like that there was continuity. Then Sammy Guevara comes out to help out. Oh god, so this is like now Sammy Guevara, this ham and egger looking guy. He's gonna be a mainstay on this show apparently. I don't know why. Like, what is it? Why is Sammy Guevara a great worker? Is that why he's like being featured on the show? I don't get it. I don't understand why he's there on the show, why he's being featured so strongly. Why should we be into Sammy Guevara? Anyway, Dustin Rhodes then comes out to help out, so it was nice to see Dustin. Would have been better to see him booked on this show instead of the MJF versus Cutler match. I mean, honestly, like, I don't know if maybe there's some injuries there or something, or he didn't want to work that show, or maybe he's going to work the next one. I've got a feeling that we're probably going to get, like, how many guys are out there, like a 10-man tag or something next week? So, who comes out of the crowd at the last minute to then counter Dustin? Jack Hager. Who? Who's Jack Hager? What? Huh? Isn't that a clothing brand or something like that? No. Jack Swagger. Oh, Jack Swagger. Now, if you guys remember, I was a pretty big fan of Jack Swagger and everything. And I'm all for this guy, being like a big star. Because I believe that he can. He's got that MMA credibility and everything. He was in Bellator. Bellator is not the UFC. So, you know what the thing is, though, basically? It wasn't really that exciting to me. Because watching the guy for so long in WWE and seeing how he was mistreated, to see him come out there, I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool. Jack Swagger's in AEW. It wasn't like, oh my god, what a surprise, I can't believe it. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was more like, well, okay. I didn't expect to see him. Just like a very calm, casual reaction from me. And I kind of had to look at the picture. He looks a little different. Oh, that is Jack Swagger. Like, I don't know. A lot of people marked out. But then again, I noticed a lot about this on this show. So before I close out the video, I'm going to say a few things about this. So first of all, this is what I believe. I strongly believe that WWE and AEW have a working relationship. I'm just going to say that right here to end things, because WWE congratulated AEW on the internet and said like, oh, that was great, you beat us and everything in the ratings. They would never do that. They don't even acknowledge that TNA existed. Even when TNA was even starting to threaten them a little bit, they even didn't even acknowledge that. Like, honestly, even when they were going to buy their tape library, they didn't even acknowledge it. So are you telling me that there is no collusion between WWE and AEW? Because I have to say that you're really turning a blind eye to that. There has been hints throughout from different people that have said this, and I am almost pretty sure of it right now. And that pretty much confirms it. What they did right there, talking about AEW, just mentioning them in a post, that proves that they are working together in some way. And for people who are opposed to this, guys, what about ECW? What about the working relationship between ECW? If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up online. You know what I mean? You're on the internet anyway. Go check it out. Okay, so that's what I am saying right here. I think that there is really no real war. It's kind of manufactured, or you know what I'm saying? They're separate. They might be competing, but it's a little too friendly, if you ask me. And there have been signs pointing to it. There are a lot of suspicious things going on. And that post right there definitely solidifies a lot of those suspicions in my mind. And second of all, like, was this a terrible show? Was this a horrible show? No, it wasn't. But it just felt really bland. Like, okay, a big surprise at the end, you know, or, you know, a modest one anyway. Jon Moxley comes out, you know, there's a big brawl at the end. But aside from that, like, nothing really huge or massive that set the world on fire. You know, I saw a lot of people saying, wow, this was an amazing show. Doesn't really point to me exactly like what was amazing about this. You take any episode of Raw from the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era and say maybe like 2000 up to 2000, from like maybe between 97 and 2003. And I will wager that episode that you pick is 10 times better than this episode of Dynamite here. I mean, I am just looking at a show that's simply not where people are saying that it is. And I get it. I understand why you want this to be good. And maybe you have an opinion, you feel this truly is good. Maybe this is your style of show. Maybe the Attitude Era wasn't your thing. Maybe you like more traditional wrestling, whatever that is, you know. Whatever that is in your mind. But this is, you know, this wasn't really too much different than WWE. This wasn't really much different than Raw. A lot of guys that look like they don't belong in a wrestling ring. No storylines really to speak of. There was a bit more of consistency with people attacking one another. There was definitely better commentary. There, in fact, was amazing commentary. I think if you ask me, what really stole the show was not so much Pac. I think it might have actually been Tony Schiavone and JR. I mean, I think they sounded great on commentary. It's just so miles above what WWE is doing. And, you know, so there you go. I didn't really think it was that amazing. Like I said, it wasn't really super bad. Was it unbearable? No, because but the thing was, it wasn't really that great. It was really just that. It was boring, you know, not like unbearable, but it wasn't great. And if you notice, a lot of the things that I'm having problems with here in this show are things that they do on Raw and SmackDown. It was like, basically, there was no difference here because this was heralded as being a big game changer. It was supposed to be different, something new, something fresh, and it still felt, if you know what it felt like? It felt like stale bread that was basically just like painted over, you know, to like give it like a shiny look, you know, like I don't know. It just seemed like something that was like originally WWE, and then they kind of like sprinkled a few different little things on. I don't know. It just did not feel like a new era. It did not feel like this was even a completely whole and original product. I don't know. They had a real opportunity here on TNT, like to really like knock the ball out of the park and really, you know, get things going and be Dynamite. And of course there was the Dynamite joke that had to be said on tonight's show. I mean, there was no way that could possibly be avoided. Well, who said it? Wasn't it Scorpio Sky who said it? The Dynamite thing? I mean, come on. Like, that just proves right there, if they couldn't even wait to get that joke out, that they probably shouldn't have picked that name. Well, anyway, guys, there's my opinions. Like I said, I don't hate the show. I'm not hating on anybody for liking the show. I just don't think it was really all that it was cracked up to be. But I know people are going to misconstrue that still. But guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post on my new videos. And guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.